Hey, it's Big Ben's Movie Show. Thanks for coming back and watching us again. This week, first-time guest on the show is Annie Fisher. Annie, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Doing so good. So we saw two movies this weekend. We're going to talk to you about them right now. First one on the list is Money Monster, starring George Clooney and Julia Roberts. Let's go ahead and take a look at the clip.
Anyone who can get out right now. Do not look up, do not make eye contact, just go. Lee, stay calm. I'm right here.
We are live in 5 minutes.
You have the revisions for the opening.
We're still making some changes.
Am I going to get the changes before the show or after the show?
You know the drill. You just point the camera my direction, we'll figure it out together.
It always sounds so simple and yet so moronic.
Here he is, the Wizard of Wall Street himself.
The name is Lee Gates. The show is Money Monster. Without risk, there is no reward. Should I sell? Should I unload? Get some balls! Man up!
Who's that guy on camera 2?
You want to complain about it? Go ahead.
Who is it? Anybody know?
Was it a union thing?
Cut the feed.
Whoever's in there, turn the cameras on. Turn the cameras on, Patty. Turn them on. What do you want me to do? Turn them on.
Put it up.
Take it out. Put it on. How do I know it won't blow up? Because I have the detonator. My thumb comes off this trigger, then we all explode. I might be the one with the gun here, but I'm not the real criminal. It's people like these guys.
I got my finger on the trigger,
I'm telling you, it's rigged. The whole damn thing.
but I don't know who to trust.
They're stealing everything from us, and they're getting away with it, too. How's that even fair?
Just keep talking to him. All right, you're good at that.
Got my finger on the trigger.
You lost a lot of money when the market tanked.
Faith just ain't.
They tracked down his girlfriend.
That was everything we had, every last cent. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to survive.
I'll get you some answers.
Nobody was asking any questions before. These guys could expose everything.
We both want an explanation for what went wrong.
We don't know. You have to understand how delicate of a situation this
I'm
is.
sitting 80 feet from a bomb. Don't talk to me about delicate situations.
We're human beings. We're not computers. We have a conscience.
I'm trying to save him. You're trying to shoot him.
I want an explanation.
Follow the money, find the fraud.
We're in this together now. Don't turn your back on anybody. I don't want you to die.
Oh my God.
No! You came here to get some answers. You deserve to get some answers.
So this was an interesting movie. This was directed by Jodie Foster, coming from being produced by George Clooney, and of course starring Julia Roberts, who you saw in the trailer there. Annie, what did you think of the movie?
I gotta say, one of the first things I thought when I was watching it was, I'm so happy it was a white guy with the bomb. Like,
Yeah.
thank you,
I thought about that too.
Hollywood.
Like if they'd made any other choice.
Any other choice.
Any other
would've been
choice
like,
that makes the whole movie about that.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm poor, and I'm also that.
Yes.
So whatever race they had picked, it would have been like, now it's just, I'm a poor guy who wants to know where my money went.
Yeah.
But if it was a poor black guy, then it would also be about...
They would have somehow tied it into
would have had
these
to.
questionable backgrounds and
Yeah.
whatever. Or like one of the things in the movie, it's not giving anything away, was when the cops are like looking up info on the guy, they're just like, oh, these kinds of guys always live with their moms, blah, blah, blah. I was just like...
Yeah, that was one of the things the profiler did. Although the guy they had playing the profiler is consistently a schmuck in everything he plays.
Yeah.
So
There's also one cop in there that totally looks like Freddie Mercury, and that kept distracting me a lot. Like,
a big
the
old
mustache
cop
was on point, and that was kind of distracting a little bit.
Biggest thing though with this movie that I thought though is that the pacing of it was really, like as I left the theater, I was surprised at how good this was and how much I liked it.
Yeah, it's only an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But it felt longer, but not in a bad way.
No,
like
not
it was so
in a great
full,
way. Yeah.
It was such a full movie, and so much was going on that it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't like lag, but you felt like you got your money's worth. Definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. No, the pace of it is very frenetic. Like at points, I would have to like come out of a stupor and remember that I was still in a movie. Because this movie goes for sprints. It'll sprint for about 20 minutes, and you're like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And then it kind of slows down, and we have a little beat where we talk about what's going on, and then something will happen, and we're off. We're sprinting again for another 20 minutes. And while they're in those sprints, you forget you're in a theater. You forget that there's other people around. It's just you living this little moment that they're playing out for you. And everybody does a great job. I don't know the name of the kid.
Of course, you have to have George Clooney playing the guy that has to charm his way out of being shot, or like no one else could have pulled that off.
No.
Like it's like, oh, well, it's Clooney. I guess I won't shoot him. Like he's fine, even though he like represents everything bad in the movie in the first place. But
just go watch it. I'm just going to say right now, go watch it. I'm going to give it about an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. It's that good.
Clearly, a lot of people aren't super aware of this movie or not knowing its background or something, because it's like, you know, something that's like trying to open people's eyes also isn't getting as much play, essentially.
Very similar to what we saw from The Big Short over the holiday season, where that movie was out there to kind of expose the big financial crisis of 2008 and what they were doing and what they're still doing to try to ruin our economy. And not a lot of people saw it.
Yeah.
It was an artistic film, so it didn't get into every theater, but I like to think of Chico as a barometer for, if it played in Chico, I'm assuming it played almost everywhere else.
This is true. Very true.
So, I mean, we're small
I used to work
enough.
at the movie theater for a long time, and I was very aware of this conversation of like, actually, we're not getting that one, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing would also be to say, why don't you try the pageant?
No, yeah, if it's not playing at our theaters, it's probably playing at the pageant.
Exactly.
So, there you go. All right, so that was Money Monster. Again, great movie. Definitely go see it. You will not be, bummed out. It's a really great movie. It's from top to bottom, fun times. So, all right, next one up is The Darkness. This is a new horror movie from with Kevin Bacon, where his kid gets possessed by a thing. Let's go and take a look at the clip.
Hey, Mikey. Do you know the Indians that used to live around here thought this place was haunted? Mikey! Legend says that the guardians of their spirit world lived in the rocks and the trees. That one day, they're going to come back into our world.
Don't be a jerk.
Like, I didn't mean anything by it. Mikey knows that.
Hey, buddy, do me a favor and listen to Mommy today.
Breakfast, Stephanie. Later.
The bag's on the table, Mikey, remember?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Can you tell Michael to stay out of my room? He keeps leaving dirty hand marks everywhere.
We never talk about him. We never talk about how he affects all of us. It's getting creepier and creepier.
1.
Getting angry doesn't help.
You're scaring him.
2.
He's scaring me.
3.
Oh my God.
4.
Hey, who's up there?
5.
Michael's been acting strangely. I mean, what are we dealing with here? Where you've been, it's the home of very powerful spirits, trapped in another dimension.
The god you might be familiar with cannot help you now.
Sweetie, don't put your hands in this, honey. You're leaving mark.
1.
We're all gonna pay
2.
for what we've done.
3. 4. 5.
So this one, it tried to be a better version of a scary movie that we've already seen before, specifically Paranormal Activity, but all of them also. But specifically Paranormal Activity that came out back in October, which has same family structure, same thing with the kid getting possessed, same thing with the doorway to the beyond being created in the kid's bedroom. It was all pretty much there. So. But and I'll give it a little bit of props for this movie. You did a better job of character development with the parents in that you gave them some stuff that they were working on.
They had like actual family issues and things
Family
going
issues
on
and
that
problems,
were
yeah.
addressed to a point.
Yeah.
Some more than others.
Mom's an alcoholic and dad's a little bit of a cheater. And so that's family stuff that we're working out. Oh, and the daughter's a little bulimic. So there's that stuff that we're working out on top of demons in the house. so Annie, you didn't see it, but you've done some research on it. What is it? If you had seen it, what do you think you would have said?
I was reading several of the reviews online about it, or like other sources, and seeing what everyone else had been saying about it. And this one review that I had seen actually made a really good comparison about like comparing it to the Brady Bunch in Hawaii. Like, oh, they took the tiki home, and now like everyone's got this bad luck. And
that classic horror film, Brady Bunch in Hawaii.
A Brady Bunch horror movie, that'd be fantastic.
They really should.
Someone should get on that because that'd be pretty good.
And No One Lives. That should be understood
it's
right
like
from the get-go.
like Halloween, but like it's Jan that's like killing everybody.
That works.
That'd
definitely
pretty
works.
solid. I'd be into that. Well, like you said, I didn't get a chance to see it, but I'm assuming that Kevin Bacon didn't dance them free, so I don't.
No, that would have been so much better. He is the reason the kid gets free because the kid finds stones. You saw the stones, and he takes the stones, and that pisses off the Indian gods, and then he has to go put the stones back, and he's the only one who can do it because. And this is the big thing, he's autistic. Right?
Which is...
Who saw that coming? Everybody.
Which is something that they use in the movie in a couple questionable ways.
Yeah. And he's not autistic in every scene, just some of them.
Just the ones where he needs to be.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a mess. It's a bad movie. Kevin Bacon, why? So, but yeah. But I got to say, for being like almost 60, Kevin Bacon looks amazing.
Fox,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, good for you. All right, so that's the movies for the week. So moving on from that, we're now going to be talking about something a little interesting. So we got a lady host on the show. It's the first time we've had a lady host in a little bit of a while. I guess it might be first time this year. Jeez, I need to be better about that. I suck. I need to take the Bechdel test. But so that's what we're going to be talking about is the Bechdel test. So this is a test that they put on movies to see whether or not the movie is treating women in a fair way or being nice to women, or basically not just minimizing and marginalizing women's roles. In a lot of movies throughout history, women are there specifically to be the romantic interest, to be the foil, to be the damsel in distress, things like this, and they don't really get to be full and complete human beings. So the Bechdel test was invented to kind of test your movie and see if you are being crappy towards women in your movie. So that's what it is. So why do we need something like this? Annie, you tell me, why do we need a test?
Just because women aren't just like the same. They also have depth and real things going on in their lives that aren't just about boys. And so that needs to definitely be represented on screen because if other girls or women see just the same things represented on screen, that's what they think that they are, and they don't see themselves being represented properly, and then they're not going to feel as if they are capable of as much.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I mean, for me, a lot of my personal identity has come from the movies and the books and the things that I've seen as a child. I mean, basically, I feel like my personality is like a puzzle that I've put together with pieces of different, like let's take a little Luke Skywalker, a little Han Solo, a little John Travolta from stuff he was in, and then things like that, and we'll put them all together and we'll make, this will be Ben, this will be Ben's person. But if everything you're seeing in a movie as a woman is just a damsel or a chick who falls in love or a woman who's all about the man in her life, then that's all you ever get to kind of learn to become. In terms of stuff like that, I mean, that's, and especially there's not, this goes also to extend to plays, books, really any form of created art or media that isn't treating women as full three-dimensional people and just things that help motivate our male characters through the story. So here's basically the test that they give to each movie. There's 3 questions. First question, are there at least 2 women in the movie? Do the 2 women talk to each other? And number 3, do they talk about men? So the answer to the first one has to be a yes, then another yes, and then a no. So you want there to be at least 2 women. You want them to talk to each other. You don't want them to talk about dudes. They should be talking about themselves, their careers, their wants, their needs, their hopes, their dreams, and
the weather. It really
anything besides. So have you talked to Craig lately? Anything besides that. Anything besides. Oh no, what are we going to do? I hope John comes over and saves us. Something like that. Anything that gets away from that, that's what you want. So, interestingly enough, I'm actually writing a movie right now, and I hadn't thought about this test when I initially wrote it, but I went back and looked at the thing that I've written. We're on our 4th draft. We're getting ready for actual production. And I checked my movie to see, does it pass the test? And thankfully for me, it does. So it's a romantic comedy, which makes it a little bit harder because obviously they're going to, I mean, the guy mostly talks about her. So, I mean, it's mostly them talking about each other. But there is some scenes at the beginning where the female main character talks to her cousin about her work and what she wants to do with her life. So I pass. Another movie that, interestingly enough, passes, Captain America Civil War. Normally a movie like that you wouldn't expect it to pass because, you know, it's about dudes, and it's about dudes hitting people, and even the ladies who are there are also there to hit people. So there's really not a lot of time to talk about not hitting people or maybe a slim little bit of romance. But that movie does. At the very beginning of the movie, there are 2 female characters that talk about espionage techniques for about 8 seconds. And that counts. Okay, moving on then to the last little portion of the show. It's time for Suck Not Suck. Shia LaBeouf. Always good when we can talk about Shia LaBeouf.
Yep.
Just, he's the gift from heaven. Yeah, until he runs for president, he won't turn on us like Donald Trump did. Shia LaBeouf is set to play tennis star John McEnroe. Johnny Mac, famous for his angry outbursts on the tennis court, will now be portrayed by Shia LaBeouf.
I like that picture of McEnroe that we're using in the background because it shows that Shia LaBeouf has to like bring his like even Stevens hair back. So that's going to be a nice little flashback for everyone, I'm sure.
That'll be fun.
I could see this being not total suck. I feel like this might be kind of okay. Mainly because Shia LaBeouf has become such a quirky individual already that I think he might do pretty well at channeling that.
Quirky's
side.
a safe word, yeah. So, yeah, no, Shia LaBeouf's a little bit, I mean, he's an out there guy.
Yeah.
And Johnny McEnroe's a bit of an out there guy. Yeah. So the idea of him playing him kind of works.
I think it could.
So, I'm hoping that he loses the beard and goes, like, this is the face.
Yeah.
I want Shia LaBeouf to look like that Johnny McEnroe.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
And hopefully this deals with his time as a tennis player, not his time as a talk show host, where he did one show and only, I believe, 7 people watched it, and they canceled it before it got to the end of the show. So a little bit of fun talk show history there. Yeah. But yeah, Johnny McEnroe, now famous mostly just for being in Adam Sandler movies.
It's true. It's really true.
All right. So there we go. Suck, not suck. That's going to suck. Or no, not suck. Excuse me. Shia LaBeouf kind of sucks. But that actually could be cool. That should be fun. Shia LaBeouf playing John McEnroe.
Suck, but it is a whole. Seems pretty safe.
All right. Next one up. Jennifer Lawrence has now planned to sign on to the Sandra Bullock Ocean's 11 spin-off movie. Sandra Bullock has been wanting to make an Ocean's 11 movie with an all-female cast. This is kind of something that we're seeing a little bit of in Hollywood lately, notably with the Ghostbusters movie, where we're now having a total remake where all of the gender roles are switched.
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters are now all ladies, and their secretary is Chris Hemsworth, who is a giant man. So yeah, this would be another version of that.
I really hope he still has like glasses and is like, just like their secretary.
I believe he does have glasses,
God,
yeah.
I hope so.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this would be Ocean's 11 movie. This would be a giant heist of some sort with 11 different ladies, all who have, of course, different sets of skills.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Lawrence would be joining in. I would assume, just because of her star power, she might be like the Brad Pitt to Sandra Bullock's
like the young
George Clooney.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Or maybe even the Matt Damon to their two.
Okay.
I don't know.
I can see one of those.
Which then you would need another like big, like in her 40s or 50s star to be next to Sandra Bullock for that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I mean, if they put Meryl Streep in it, I'm going to watch it. It would be an awesome.
Holy crap, put Meryl Streep in that.
Just saying, Sandra.
Holy crap.
So, I think, again, this would also not suck. I personally am totally on board for movies being remade with women cast, like gender reversing things going on. As long as you're actually doing it, like I said, appropriately. Like you're not just gonna do a bunch of like cliche lady things just to like make it funny. Like
we gotta crack the safe, but my period.
Yeah,
oh no!
Exactly. Like if you just have it as actual like
Yeah.
You know, similar types of characters as the original, like the depth and the you know, characterization, everything. Like,
although if they can find some way to use a tampon to break into something,
that would be pretty awesome.
That'd be just once. Just do it once. You don't need to do a lot, but just once. That'd be okay. That'd be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'd be super into this. I'm a big fan of all the other Ocean's movies. Really heist movies in general. Yeah. You pretty much got me every time. And the idea of putting a bunch of ladies in it sounds like the same movies before, but everybody's just a little bit prettier. Yeah. And that sounds okay. I'm all for that. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say not suck. That sounds awesome.
And stop complaining about these movies, everyone. Like the new Ghostbusters movie, just stop it. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of hearing it. It's going to be a good cast. So
nobody wants to hear it. And that cast is amazing.
Yeah. Fantastic.
If you have any complaints about that cast, it should be that they kind of went with the 3 white people and a black person thing again. Yeah. If you want to get a little pissed about something, get pissed about that.
Someone asks if you're a god, you say yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But other than that, the Ghostbusters looks great. This sounds like a great idea. It's almost like the blaxploitation films where they keep making like black versions of movies with just but now they're doing it just with all women.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I never saw that coming, but if it works and you keep doing it and they're great, absolutely keep going for it. All for it. All right, next one up, Trainspotting 2 is filming right now. That's all the news I have on this, is that Trainspotting 2 is filming, because I didn't know this was a thing. I've seen Trainspotting 1. I love Trainspotting 1. Didn't know they were making a sequel. Trainspotting, do you like it?
Yes. I feel like it's one of those situations where it's like, I'm not opposed to sequels for like really good movies, but lately the trend has been like, oh, let's do this, but like 20 years later, and you're just kind of like,
it's going to be hard.
It makes me wonder why they chose that gap of time. Is it like
they
because
just all run out of money at once?
Now? It's like, is it because everyone's doing it now, so you all have to now make yourselves these movies like relevant again? It's like, if it's a classic, you don't have to reintroduce it to people. They should be able to find it upon themselves. But like, you know,
I don't know.
If it's done right.
If it's done right, it should be great. And it's the same director, same cast, same everything from the first one.
Yeah.
It's Guy Ritchie who makes good stuff. So chances are this one will also be good. Yeah. And yay, we'll go see that. So all right, so that's another not suck. Wow, we are 3 for 3 not sucking.
Right.
This is unprecedented. We've never had this. No, most of the time on this list, most of the things suck. So I don't know. We'll see how we go with the last two. Next one up, Black Widow from the Avengers movies, from Captain America: Civil War. It's now been greenlit. She's getting her own movie. Finally, something that fans have been asking for since the first Avengers movie. We're asking, when's she going to get her own movie? When's she going to get her own movie? Mm-hmm. Kevin Feige, president of Marvel Entertainment, has finally said, yay, it's going to happen. Yeah. Is this a good thing? What do you think?
I'm not a big Scarlett Johansson fan myself. I'm sorry. I've tried. I just, but I think it's good that they're giving her also time in the spotlight, not just making like the same 3 of it, like 3 or 4.
It's about 3 or 4 guys that keep getting movies and then do a big team up movie. So it's which, to be fair, she's not the only character that keeps getting missed for. Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye also doesn't get his own movie. But Black Widow's getting her own movie, which means that Marvel will have 2 female-centric superhero movies coming out in the next couple of years, because Captain Marvel is also coming. And she'll be a big part of the Infinity War stuff they do later on. I think this will be interesting because it will be totally different from any other Marvel movie they've ever made, because she doesn't have superpowers. Not even like Captain America level superpowers.
Or like an excessively fancy suit that,
It's mostly a leather jumpsuit that in any other movie she would be dancing in. Mm-hmm. And then for this movie, she gets to kick ass. And then she's got the little wrist shooters that shoot little taser darts. That's it. That's the whole setup. So I'm thinking this movie will probably be closer to Jason Bourne and the Bourne Identity movies than it will be to an Avengers movie. So, but yeah, also not suck. That sounds great. I'm with you though. I'm not, especially in this role.
Yeah.
Some of her delivery in the Avengers movie, when they were like, "Hey, I'm bringing the party to you," and she goes, "That's not a party." It's just, maybe they just gave her bad lines. I don't know, but her delivery always felt wrong. Just not kind of what we were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, last one, and this is probably where the not suck road ends, because this one is kind of dumb. Missile Command and Centipede are arcade games and Atari games from the 1980s, and now they're going to be given movies. Both of these games actually appeared in the movie Pixels with Adam Sandler and Peter Dinklage, where they had to fight real-life video game monsters, and these things showed up. But now we're going to actually see an entire movie based around Missile Command. Now, Missile Command, and this is going to sound dumb for a second, is a game where there's a little missile coming down the screen, and you have to click on it, and it blows the missile up. And then they send more missiles, and then there's lots of missiles, and you're clicking all of them and blowing them up. That's the whole game. I don't know where you get a movie out of that. But
I'll give you an example of another time something similar to this went wrong. It's called Battleship. Did anybody watch that movie? No, because it was stupid.
And Battleship actually had more of a reason for a story. It was, I'm fighting you. I'm a person and you're a person. We have battleships and we're trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
That's more of a narrative than this movie has.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then Centipede's just as bad, where you're sitting at the bottom of the screen and there's an alien centipede that's doing this and you have to kill it before it gets there.
Yeah.
These are not movies. Plus, if you're...
Also, how realistic are they making the centipede? Because that sounds partially terrifying at the same time as well. Like, I don't understand the technique for that one either.
Yeah, no, that's probably going to look dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, and really, if anything, the way Pixels did these, even though it was a terrible movie, is probably the best way these should have ever been done.
Which is just incorporate it. Like,
incorporate
refer
into
to it,
a
reference it, but don't
that's fine.
turn it into a film. Same with like Wreck-It Ralph did that really well.
Yeah,
like,
and see, Wreck-It Ralph did it well because they made jokes with it.
Exactly.
They had fun with it.
They played with the idea of them and everything.
Exactly. Yeah. No, okay. So, and then if you're looking at making video game movies, there's good ones out there. There's ones that are like, especially the newer video games, are set. They've got scripts, they've got actors, they've got storylines. They're set. Just lift them right out, put them in a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you could almost even do it with the digital formatting they already have. I might not even notice. So just do that. I mean, the Assassin's Creed trailer came out and that looks amazing. So anyway, all right. So that's the show for this week. Those two are going to suck, by the way. Excuse me. All right. So that's the show for this week. If you have questions or issues with the show, or you want to just reach out and say hello, or you'd like to be a guest host like Annie was this week, give me an email. The email is bigbms@zoho.com. If you like my voice, even with all the coughing and whatnot, you can check out my podcast. It's Geek Wars Podcast. It's on iTunes, Podcast Addict, or wherever podcasts are found. Annie, you got anything you want to plug? Where can people find you?
Oh, let's see. Well, I like to frequent some of the... do stand up around town. We have open mics every Monday over at the Maltese at 9 o'clock, and Wednesdays over at Studio Inn at 9 o'clock as well.
And they can also check you out on this channel on NSFW. You're a sometimes guest on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So check her out on that too. Not Safe for Work. Kyle Bowen's Not Safe for Work.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to get the right. Sorry, Kyle. Sorry. Next week, my guest will be Chris Smith. He's back. Haven't had him on the show since January. But those of you who have watched the show know that we've had him on a lot. So January, he's finally back. We'll be talking about The Nice Guys and Neighbors 2. We'll also have the return of the Kid correspondent, and she'll be talking about the new Angry Birds movie. So that should be fun. Stick around now for That's That and all the other great shows here on BCAC TV. Good night. Ha ha ha!